Carmen Johnson with Consumers Credit Union. Thank you so much for joining us. From finance to fitness, we have it all. And we also like to throw in a little bit of fun. This year, we have a great amount of fun. You could say it's small, but actually it's pretty big. We are talking today to Alman Forrester. He is the Director of Facilities, Planning, and Sustainability with the John Ball Zoo. And I'm telling you what, Alman, I am more excited about this podcast because there are some pygmy, and I put that in quotation marks. You can't see that on a podcast, but it's there. Hippos coming our way. Thanks for joining us today.
Certainly glad to be here. This is a great opportunity, not for the zoo, but for the community and all of West Michigan.
I'll tell you what, I've had a chance to walk through the Pygmy Hippo exhibit as it is being built. I think spring 2023 is when this is going to open up. And this is going to be for everybody across the state of Michigan, not just West Michigan. We're so excited.
Yeah, it is. And we have attendance at our zoo from all 83 counties in Michigan, as well as all 50 states in the union. So we have quite a few folks that come in. We're one of those hidden gems that people don't think we're as big as we are, but we see almost 600,000 people every year, and most of them come in between Memorial Day and Labor Day.
There's so many things happening. The entryway is being completely revamped. That is a beautiful entryway. You know, I grew up here in West Michigan, and so I remember the big long hill that you had to push my kids up in the stroller, and that now is a sloping, beautiful entryway. It's so exciting. So tell us a little bit about how did you decide on pygmy hippos?
Well, we wanted to have a spectacular animal down front. You know, we want to be a zoo for all. And that's for anybody that from socioeconomic areas to physical capabilities to the older generation. And also our number one demographic is a mom with 2.5 kids, right? We have 108 foot of elevation change here on our site. So it's like 11-story building. People are actually going up, and pretty much after you leave the parking lot, it's uphill all the way. So again, trying to be a zoo for all. Are targeted to have a 5% or lower slope, wherever we can put that. And that's pretty much we can do the whole front area so that people can enjoy and not be out of breath when they get up top, be able to talk and communicate. Our front entry area, we want to have how waters connect us all. That was kind of an underlying theme through our Time to Soar campaign, how water truly does connect us all, especially being in West Michigan with the Grand River and, Lake Michigan. We've actually reduced our water usage over the past 2 decades by 80%. We've actually saved 1 billion gallons of water since 2002. And we said, you know what, let's really go after this. We also did it with stormwater. We're now taking all of our stormwater inside the zoo proper and putting it down through an infiltration basin and keeping it on site as long as we can to release it slowly so we can positively impact 83 million gallons of stormwater every year. So with water being so important to us, having water being that component piece, and what animals out there that need conservation work, that also water is important. And pygmy hippos kind of bubbled up because they're really an animal of need. There's only about 3,400 of them in the wild, so not very many at all. And there's only, I think, 23 zoos that actually have pygmy hippos in their collection.
And hippos, they spend how much of their time in the water?
Well, the pygmy hippos are a little different than Nile hippos. Not only the size is different. So a pygmy hippo is about 400 or 500 pounds, but the Niles, they'll be on average, 4,000 to 6,000 pounds.
Wow.
So pygmy hippos are solitary animals. So they live in more of the Congo region, rainforest areas, more in the in streams and rivers, and heavy rainforest areas. The difference is now pygmies like to be wet. So, moist conditions in a rainforest, we don't have a lot of moist conditions as much, right? It may seem like that in the summer when it's 80% humidity, right? So they'll spend a lot of time in the water just because they like to be wet. They actually exude this milky substance from their skin to help them get it from getting sunburned. So it's something that they've developed over years. So that and
wow.
For our keepers who will be handling the animals, and there'll be a milky substance on them. That doesn't look. You gotta get pretty close to see it, but it's kind of some nature sunscreen, so it's pretty awesome. I don't think I'd rub it on their back and rub it on my face. I don't think I'd go that route, but
it does sound like you could bottle it though, Alvin.
Maybe we could sell it in our gift shop, right? It's kind of cool. I think about the water part of it is that they actually got their own little showers in their holding area as well as out in the habitat. So we taught to punch a button that will activate like a shower head because they want to stay wet all the time. We learned that trick from Louisville Zoo. When we started talking about pygmy hippos, one thing great about being part of the AZA Association of Zoos and Aquariums is that we can network with the best of the best throughout the country. So we reached out to some of our counterparts that already have them, how they're successful. We could learn from that so we can continue to build more successful habitats. And one of them is a little shower. So that's kind of how we settled on the pygmy hippos, the water component, the real need for a conservation effort with those animals, them being unique and not in a lot of different zoos and aquariums across the country. But we're also taking it up a notch. We're actually having a multi-species habitat for pygmy hippos, which is very unique. We'll be the only one in the country that will have more than 2 species. Actually, we'll have 3 species out there at one time. We'll have the pygmy hippo. We'll have Sitatunga, which are kind of a forested water antelope. We'll also have some cranes, some birds out there as well. Only San Diego Zoo is actually exhibiting pygmies with other animals, and they're doing it with primates that don't play in the same space. So we got 3 animals playing in the same space, so it's going to be kind of interesting. We developed a holding building that's very complex, so we can move animals around and get them introduced to each other to be able to have multiple animal species as well as multiple animals at the same time. So it will be by far the best, most spectacular pygmy hippo habitat in the country.
Tell you what, consumers is really proud. We are the interactive play partner with this, and that's going to lead to a lot of fun over the year once we open this up and give for some great picture taking and some social media posts. And I bet we're going to throw in some free zoo tickets too, so it should be pretty fun. I cannot thank you enough. It's so fascinating to me, Almond, to listen to how there's so many different pieces and parts and different levels of education and understanding to bring something like this together. I would love it if you'd like to be on every once in a while to talk about other components of the zoo, because I don't think people really realize how amazing the educators are and the vets and everything that goes into making sure that we have a wonderful active zoo.
One thing that probably we're our own worst enemies because we don't tell our story enough. Because we really want to provide a good educational experience, a great conservation effort for our animals, and sometimes tooting our own horn doesn't get out as much as we really should. But there are some just awesome, some fantastic things that happen, and I could go on for hours on the impact we're having on individual families, on our on some of our pollinator species of plants that are put out there for insects and birds. We've actually brought back the power shake butterfly from basic extinction. Okay, so they're here. We got the only ones that are in the country are here that we are working on. And our conservation doesn't stop at animals. It goes in the environment as well. Part of the pygmy hippos that we're doing is called Living Building Challenge. And for those of you who know what LEED building is, it's LEED Platinum on steroids. So LEED's been out about 25 years, and LEED's goal is to reduce the damage. Living Building Challenge, or LBC as we call it, is there to restore the damage that's done. So we are reducing our water use by 50% from baseline for this whole project of front entry, energy use by 70%, all the construction waste and demolition waste, over 90% of reduction in that from landfill incinerator. We affect positively the wellness of people. We've even got an adult changing table in our comfort station down in the front restroom. Again, we want to be a zoo for all and meet people and meet their needs as they come and enjoy the zoo with us.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are looking forward then to having you more often here on Money I'm Home. And what a great gift to the community. You are too, Almond. Thank you for your education and your insight. I did ask you at the beginning off the mic how long you've been in this position, or at least at the zoo. Your comment was?
Since the turn of the century.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you, we've got the experts for you here. I'm Lynn Jarman Johnson with Consumers Credit Union. Thank you, Jag Etzling, for your production skills. Again, Alden, thanks so much for being with us, and we look forward to having you back on a lot this year.
My pleasure. More than happy to. Thank you.
Have a wonderful week, everybody.